Welcome to Lesson 5 in Unit 11, A Home for a Penguin. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, how can we design a prototype of a penguin's natural habitat? In this lesson, students continue in the engineering design cycle. They figure out that before building their solutions, they can use sketches to plan and communicate their ideas. Students make connections to the storyline by planning, sketching, and communicating their habitat solutions. There are several opportunities for ELA and social studies cross-curricular connections throughout the lesson. You can look for specific standard ideas in the Unit 11 Teacher Guide. This lesson will take approximately 3 to 4 days to complete. To begin the Engage portion, you'll ask students questions about what they've learned so far about penguins and their needs, as well as properties and installation. You'll revisit the driving question board to add any new questions and highlight others connected to the learning goals of this lesson by calling attention to questions about how engineers make things or how to begin their penguin habitat. For the Explore portion, you'll post and discuss the prototype vocabulary word and talk with students about how design teams will be building a prototype of a penguin habitat. You'll display and review the design goals, then show students the materials that they will have available for their prototypes. You'll direct students back to their original sketch for their habitat on the Defining the Problem student journal page from Lesson 1 and ask students if anything they have learned has given them new ideas for their habitat. You'll then direct them to the engineering design cycle and ask what they've done so far and what they still need to do. Now it's time to brainstorm some possible solutions. Students will make a new sketch on the My Design Ideas student journal page. They can use the Penguin Prototype Rubric student journal page to guide their work. For the Explain portion, you'll put students into 6 teams and instruct them to share their individually brainstormed design ideas with their new engineering teams. You'll remind students of the design goals, and students should describe how their design meets the goals. The team should then choose the best idea. This is the design students will build and test in the next lesson. You'll then direct students to the Team Design Ideas student journal page and the Penguin Prototype Rubric student journal page. You'll have each student draw and label the team's design in their student journal. For the Elaborate portion, students should pair with another team to explain how the design will solve the problems for people and penguins at the zoo. You'll have students use the peer feedback table tent to identify one thing they like, one question they have, and one suggestion they have about each other's solutions. Students can make any changes to their designs at this time if needed. For the Evaluate portion, you'll have students work individually using the Team Design Ideas student journal page and the Penguin Prototype Rubric to self-evaluate their drawings and their team's habitat. You'll examine each team's drawing and evaluate it with the Penguin Prototype Rubric. By the end of this lesson, students will have worked with a team to apply scientific findings to the engineering design process in order to solve the problem, and planned and drawn a habitat model that meets the goals of the design challenge. In Lesson 7, each group will test their prototype to see how well it meets the criteria and compare how well the designs worked to solve the problem. For the Optional Extend, you can give an amount to each material and then have students calculate the price of their habitat design. They can then compare which one cost the most and which one was the most cost-effective. You might also provide a constraint by only giving students a certain budget to work with to redesign their habitat. For more information about this unit, visit myscipartners.com.